Chief Justice John Roberts recently delivered remarks emphasizing the enduring strength of the U.S. Constitution as the Supreme Court prepares to release several significant rulings. His comments come during a period when the nation's highest court faces public attention on cases that could shape American law and policy for years to come. Today, we're taking a closer look at what the Chief Justice said and why these upcoming decisions matter to millions of Americans. The Supreme Court operates on an annual term that typically runs from October through June. According to the court's traditional schedule, the most consequential and complex cases are often decided in the final weeks of the term. This year follows that pattern, with multiple high-profile cases still awaiting final rulings. Chief Justice Roberts, who has led the court since 2005, made his recent statements during a public address. His remarks focused on the institutional role of the judiciary and the constitutional framework that guides the court's work. Roberts has previously spoken about the importance of judicial independence and the court's duty to interpret the law without regard to political pressure. The Supreme Court currently consists of 9 justices, with cases decided by majority vote. Public records show that recent terms have featured decisions on issues ranging from regulatory authority to civil rights, often drawing significant public interest and media coverage. The court's rulings carry the weight of final legal authority in the American system, making each term's conclusions a focal point for legal observers, policymakers, and citizens alike. According to official statements, Chief Justice Roberts described the Constitution as remaining firm and unshaken despite ongoing debates about the court's role in American society. His remarks appear to address broader conversations about judicial legitimacy and the court's place within the constitutional system. Reports indicate that several cases awaiting decision this term involve questions about federal agency power, free speech protections, and the scope of executive authority. Legal analysts note that these cases could have practical implications for how laws are enforced and interpreted across multiple areas of governance. The Chief Justice's comments did not reference specific pending cases, which is consistent with the court's practice of avoiding detailed public discussion of matters before final rulings are issued. Court observers point out that justices typically maintain this boundary to preserve the deliberative process and avoid appearing to prejudge outcomes. News outlets covering the remarks have noted that Roberts' statement comes amid ongoing public discussion about Supreme Court procedures, ethics guidelines, and the confirmation process for justices. These conversations have included voices from across the political spectrum, with various stakeholders offering different perspectives on how the judicial branch should function within the broader system of government. Legal scholars who study the Supreme Court have offered context for understanding the Chief Justice's remarks. According to academic analysis, Roberts has consistently emphasized institutional stability and the importance of public confidence in the judicial system throughout his tenure. Former court clerks and constitutional law professors have noted in interviews with major news organizations that the Chief Justice's language reflects long-standing judicial philosophy about the separation of powers. These experts point out that emphasizing constitutional continuity serves to reinforce the court's role as an interpreter of foundational legal principles rather than a political body. Public statements from legal organizations representing different viewpoints have varied in their assessment of the court's recent direction. Some advocacy groups have expressed support for a strict interpretation of constitutional text, while others have called for approaches that account for evolving social circumstances. These differing perspectives reflect ongoing debates within the legal community about interpretive methodology. Members of Congress from both major parties have also weighed in on Supreme Court matters this term. Though reactions to Roberts' specific comments have been measured, legislative records show that proposals related to court structure and procedures have been introduced, though analysts note that major institutional changes to the judiciary face significant procedural and political obstacles. The Supreme Court's decisions affect everyday Americans in concrete ways. Rulings on regulatory authority can determine how workplace safety rules are enforced, how environmental protections are implemented, and how consumer safeguards function. Cases involving speech and expression influence the boundaries of protected communication in both public and private settings. For businesses, court decisions can clarify legal standards that govern operations, contracts, and compliance requirements. For individuals, rulings may affect rights in areas such as voting access, privacy protections, and interactions with government agencies. The court's pronouncements also provide guidance to lower courts throughout the federal and state systems. When the Supreme Court establishes legal precedent, judges across the country apply those principles to thousands of additional cases, creating ripple effects throughout the justice system. Public awareness of Supreme Court activity has increased in recent years, with polling data showing that more Americans can name at least some justices and express opinions about the court's work. This heightened attention reflects the court's role in resolving disputes about laws and policies that generate strong feelings among citizens with different values and priorities. As the Supreme Court moves toward the conclusion of its current term, attention will remain focused on the forthcoming decisions and their practical implications. Chief Justice Roberts' remarks about constitutional continuity offer one perspective on the court's institutional identity during a time of active public engagement with judicial matters. The coming weeks will reveal how the court resolves the complex legal questions before it. As always, those rulings will become part of the ongoing American conversation about law, governance, and the Constitution's role in shaping the nation's future.